Good evening and welcome to the October 2025 regular meeting of the Mayor and City Council. First item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to invite Josh Fisher to come up to the podium and lead us in the pledge. If we can all rise, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Josh. Next item on our agenda is reflection, and tonight we have an invocation. We're going to invite Rabbi David HELFAND to the podium. Rabbi David is the newest leader of our faith community here in Gaithersburg, and he's the rabbi over at Shaarei Torah, and we're glad to have him here for the first time.
Mayor Ashman, members of the City Council, dear friends and fellow residents of Gaithersburg, good evening. My name is Rabbi David HELFAND, and I have the pleasure of serving as rabbi of Shaarei Torah Synagogue here in Gaithersburg, located in the Lakelands. Having just arrived this summer to begin my tenure, I am blessed to be a resident of Gaithersburg, along with my wife Rebecca, our 2 boys, and our puppy. So thank you to Mayor Ashman for this opportunity to share an invocation this evening. We begin the evening with gratitude for the city that we call home, for the neighbors who make it vibrant, and for those who dedicate themselves to the work of governance and civic life. There's an ancient teaching that reminds us how good and pleasant it is when people dwell together in unity. May this chamber embody that vision, a place where unity is not just an aspiration but a practice. May we remember that our strength lies not in thinking alike, but in working together despite differences, always guided by our shared commitment to the city of Gaithersburg's well-being. May those who lead us do so with wisdom and humility. May those who speak be heard with open minds. And may the decisions made here reflect our highest values, that of compassion for the vulnerable, opportunity for all, and care for both present and future generations. As we look ahead, may we be blessed with hope that rises from the good work already being done, and hope that inspires us to meet the challenges before with courage and creativity. May we never forget that we are all woven together in this community and that our individual well-being is bound to the well-being of all. Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. We really appreciate that. And we wish you and your congregation all of the luck. Okay, so next on our agenda is approval of minutes, and tonight we have 2 sets of minutes before us. The first is from the work session on Monday, September 29th. What is the pleasure of the council?
Mayor, I move approval of the minutes from the work session held on September 29, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, that carries 4-0. And next, we have the minutes from the regular meeting on Monday, October 6th. What is the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Mayor, I move the minutes from the regular session held on October 6th, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Carries 4-0. Thank you. Next on our agenda is consent. There are 3 items on the consent calendar tonight, and my understanding is that Councilmember Harris has one question on one of them.
I have a brief question. Thanks, Mayor. On the Blohm Park improvements, what was the rationale for having to change the plan from mulch to dirt trails?
That was an MDE.
I know, but why?
They have recently, and actually it's been the last year or 2, they prefer not to have anything that will float in the floodplain. And as we all know, Bloom Park is mostly floodplain. So
Okay.
They did not want anything, no mulch. They didn't want any asphalt because, of course, it's also floodplain and it's in a floodplain buffer. So that is the rationale on that.
All right, makes sense. Thank you for clearing that up.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, I'd like to move the resolution.
Okay.
Second.
Did you have a
What
question?
are we moving we're moving the agenda.
The consent agenda.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, it carries 4-0. Thank you. Okay, so next we have appointments. And let's see, tonight we have a few appointments and reappointments. What is the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Mayor, I move for the appointment to the Ethics Commission for a 3-year term, Salib Parekh of Park Summit, to the Senior Advisory Committee for a 2-year term, George Feidel of Montgomery Village Community, to Commission of Landlord-Tenant Affairs to a 3-year term, Joshua Fisher of Brooks Russell Walker Addition and John Monroe of Old Town, to the Police Advisory Committee of a 2-year term, Kyle DeCastro of Gaithersburg Community, John Monroe of Old Town.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, that carries 4-0. I see Josh Fisher in the audience. Is anybody else in the audience whose name we just called? Salil, okay. So let's give them a round of applause for serving. Thank you both. I will make the pitch, as I always do. Serving on a city committee is a great way to get involved, get to know a little bit about how the city works, contribute meaningfully, get to know like-minded people, and it's just it's a great thing. We have a couple dozen different committees and commissions, and chances are there's something that you're interested in. So take a look. Okay, so next we're going to move into presentations, and I am going to invite Sheila Booley and any Multicultural Affairs Committee members to join me at the podium. We're going to proclaim Native American Heritage Month. Do you want to read the background material?
No, you should.
Go ahead. You got it, Sheila.
Thanks. I just,
Yeah,
Just right here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
hi. So Native American Heritage Month is an opportunity to honor the vibrant cultural traditions, proud ancestry, and enduring contributions of Native Americans to the art, history, and diversity of our society. While Native Americans represent less than 1% of Gaithersburg population, according to the 2020 census, we recognize that our city stands on land originally inhabited by indigenous people. This month serves not only to celebrate Native cultures, but also to reflect on the complex histories and ongoing legacies of Native communities across the country. By acknowledging Native American Heritage Month, we affirm our commitment to inclusivity, respect, and historical awareness. To commemorate Native American Heritage Month, Parks, Recreation, and Culture will present an educational display featuring facts, recognition of notable Native Americans, and information about their significant impact on our nation's history and culture. The exhibit will be available for public viewing throughout the month of November at the Activity Center at Borough Park, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 p.m., and on Saturdays and Sundays from 8 to 5. In addition to the display at the Activity Center, the Gaithersburg Community Museum will host a weekly challenge from November 5th to the 9th, inviting visitors of all ages to drop in and create a traditional Native American craft while learning about its cultural significance. This free activity will be available during regular museum hours.
Thank you, Sheila. And I will read the proclamation of the Mayor and City Council of Gaithersburg. Whereas in 1990, President George H.W. Bush approved a joint resolution designating November as Native American Heritage Month in recognition of the rich history and culture of the country's Native population. And whereas the U.S. government officially recognizes 574 tribes in the contiguous 48 states and Alaska. In Maryland, there are residents who represent these nations as well as some of the more than 500 tribes from Latin America and the Caribbean. And whereas the nation most closely associated with the boundaries of today's Montgomery County are the Piscataway, the city of Gaithersburg acknowledges that the Piscataway Indian Nation continues to maintain a relationship with the lands and waters and acknowledges that we are uninvited visitors on indigenous lands. The state of Maryland officially recognized the Piscataway Conoy tribe and the Piscataway Indian Nation in 2012. And whereas this special observance reflects the rich heritage and great influences that Native Americans had on our nation's history and culture, and also reflects our continuing commitment to Native American tribal governments as an integral part of the social, political, and economic fabric of the United States. Now, therefore, I, Judd Ashman, by the power vested in me as mayor of Gaithersburg, do hereby proclaim November 2025 as Native American Heritage Month in the city of Gaithersburg and urge all residents to participate in this observance, thereby fostering the celebration of diversity and keeping strong the rich cultural foundation of our community. Proclaim this 20th day of October 2025 and signed by me. And let's give our Multicultural Affairs Committee a great round of applause. Thank you. You guys get to keep that. Okay, and our next proclamation is Geography Awareness Week. And I'd like to invite Jan Kim, Matthew Brennan, Kirk Eby, and Jasmine Forbes to join me here as I read this proclamation. Okay. And after this proclamation, there's going to be a brief demonstration of GIS technology. We look forward to this all year, actually. Proclamation of the Mayor and City Council of Gaithersburg. Whereas Geographic Information System, or GIS, technology plays a vital role in the daily operations of the City of Gaithersburg, increasing the efficiency and effectiveness of its business functions and the equity of its policy decisions. And whereas government services and assets are tracked and analyzed using GIS to create a comprehensive view of their distribution and to guide their improvement, and whereas GIS allows complex data and spatial relationships to be visualized and presented clearly to the public, the mayor and city council, committees, and city staff, and whereas collaboration to achieve better GIS data and products is fostered among the neighboring jurisdictions, city, county, and state, to build a more accurate and up-to-date GIS system which promotes better decision-making. Now, therefore, I, Judd Ashman, by the power vested in me as mayor of Gaithersburg, do hereby proclaim November 19th, 2025 is GIS Day, and November 17th through the 21st, 2025 is Geography Awareness Week. Proclaim this 20th day of October 2025 and signed by me. And let's give our staff a great big round of applause. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tonight, we are excited to present a mapping application developed in collaboration with Planning, Code, and Administration Department. This project is very unique in a sense that it came, the requirements came from the users. In this case, our GIS user, Jasmine, played a central role. She reviewed and prepared the underlying data and also configured and developed most of the mapping application. The GIS team primarily focused on providing technical framework and support. We see this as a hybrid development approach where empowered and skilled GIS users take a lead in creating sophisticated solutions such as mapping applications, story maps, and dashboard. We hope to see this collaborative approach in the future more. Without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to Jasmine to give us a sneak peek of soon-to-be-released planning project mapping application.
Thank you, Jan. Before I demonstrate the planning projects page, I kind of want to quickly go over how we've got here. So when I stepped in my new role, Greg and I had worked on a 2-year work plan, and one of the items in the work plan was to enhance community engagement. And we thought one thing we can tackle is the current projects in the city. So if you can see on the screen, we currently have a project in the city page. It actually includes more than just planning, it includes any application of public works. But you can see here, it has a map, but then there's this whole long list of applications. And it takes someone from the public have to sift through this list to figure out what's going on in my neighborhood. So we thought this is a great opportunity to maybe use mapping and give folks an opportunity to learn what's kind of in their neighborhood. Also, currently, this project page only includes applications that goes before a planning commission and mayor city council. We also have other applications that goes to the Board of Appeals, Historic District Commission, and even staff approval applications, which are applications that's reviewed by planning staff. And we felt that as a city, we should be transparent. Everyone should know like what applications that the city is reviewing. So I will pull this up. So we have the planning projects page. So what's great that ArcGIS Online has, they have so many different apps that you can create maps with. So we decided to use the Near Map app. So what the Near Map is, so it says someone say, I want to know what's going on close to my house. So I'm going to use City Hall as an example. So you type in your address. What happens, it'll drop a pinpoint right on the property, and it draws a half-mile radius around that pinpoint, and it grabs any applications within that half mile. And on the left-hand side, it pops up a window with a list of all applications within that half mile. And with that, it has mostly just high-level information, such as address, application type, status, description, and any public hearing dates that are up and coming. If someone thinks, half mile's not enough, they can pull this dot here and make the radius much bigger, and that just grabs more applications. And what's cool about this, with the image, you can click on that, and that just kind of gives you a general look of the project. And what, as the planning department wants to do, we want to make sure any future applications that come in, we want our applicant to create more of a color rendering application so someone from the public can understand what they're looking at. And if anyone from the public is interested a little bit more, because this is only high level, we have a link that takes us to our InterGov, which is basically our permit and site plan database. So this is all up to date. So any new applications that comes in, it's all right here and easy access. So thank you again for Jan for helping me seeing this project come to life, and I am happy to answer any questions you may have.
It looks great. I just tried it on mobile, and these things are hard to get to work right, look great on mobile, and I think you guys did a great job.
Okay, thank you.
Questions, comments?
No, I agree. I think this is a great step. I always love digging in on GIS maps, and I think this is a great way for folks to really be able to navigate the projects that are, we get a lot of questions like what's going on with this, and to be able to easily access that and visually see its proximity to other things. This is a great bit for transparency, and as well as, if you have a project that you want to do yourself, be able to understand how that might fit in with what's going on around you. So well done.
Yeah, thank you.
When does it go live?
So we got a couple of things on the back end we got to fix. It's not going to change the look, so we're hoping to get this up and running by the end of November.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Okay, thank you.
Next on our agenda is public comments. This is the time where the mayor and council like to hear from anybody who'd like to speak on any topic other than a public hearing topic. We do have joint public hearings coming up immediately after on the Casey Rosedale project. So if you're here to speak on that, just hold off. But if you'd like to speak on anything else, we ask that you come up to the podium, state your name and address or neighborhood if you feel more comfortable for the record. We ask that you keep your comments no more than 3 minutes. If you have more than 3 minutes worth of material to deliver, use your 3 minutes and send us the rest in writing. We'll consider it just the same. Is there anybody in the room who'd like to testify this evening? Come on up.
Excuse me a second here. My name is Russell Kennedy, and I live at 8 Russell Avenue, Gaithersburg. And the comment I have is, I'd like the idea of a geography awareness. My degree is in geography from Frostburg State University. I worked as a professional cartographer for NOAA, and I helped design the electronic navigational chart system, which is the GIS for shipping in this country. I've been away from it for a while. I was just wondering, is there some way I could get involved and help? At least from a public view, looking at the stuff and trying to understand it. Because right now it's a little, it's not visually, I have trouble understanding it a little bit.
Bless you.
So I would like to work as a counterpoint to it or anything. And by the way, I do volunteer for GIS Week or GIS Day at the museum every year, teaching young kids how to read maps.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we can have staff follow up with you. Do we have anyone else who'd like to testify this evening? Come on up.
Hi, LaShawn Crenshaw. I live at 208 Park Avenue, Gaithersburg, Maryland. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. So I have issues with the Motel 6 where Montgomery County is placing these families that are on the programs for housing. And I've been dealing with this now for about 4 or 5 months. And I did make the effort to have one family removed from there by pushing my letters and talking to whomever I can talk to. I sent numerous emails to City of Gaithersburg, City of Rockville, the mayor, the governor. I did it for everybody. We have families that live there with disability children. The Montgomery County codes are being violated. You have disabled kids that have no stove, but the people who work there have a whole full-size kitchen, and these families can't cook in there, especially with children with autistic, especially a woman that has cardio heart vascular disease. She can't eat processed food. Whatever money they get from TSA, unemployment or whatever, that's not enough to cover anything. I had one young lady just last week, her son got scratched by a mice on the bed. And you all are saying it's okay for these families to live there. You pay all this money and our taxpayers' money for these families to be placed in these places, and these places are not up to par. It's horrible. I really would wish each and every one of you guys, go rent a room out. Stay there for one night, and you see what these families are going through. They don't have anybody to fight. I'm nobody big, but I don't take no for an answer, and I will keep coming and keep coming. These families need to be placed somewhere that is habitable, that is safety. I even been there with my friend, and to drop her off, I got solicited for drugs, for prostitution. And because we were a whole family, they even wanted the 5-year-old daughter, the granddaughter, to be prostituted. This is what they go through every single day. A lot of these families, I have numerous letters that I've gotten from all of them. I go up there weekly to talk to them to see if anything changes. If they speak about any conditions, about the mice, the holes, anything like that, they get retaliated on. And Liz got retaliated on, and they moved her to Red Roof Inn. And as soon as we walked in the hotel room, a dead rat right there on the floor, a mice right there on the floor. These families should not be subject to any of this, especially if this is run by Montgomery County, but it's the City of Gaithersburg. I mean, it's not fair to these families. It's really not. And I really wish that somebody would take their time just to go and visit, just to see what these families go through on a daily basis. You have horrible running water. You have mold everywhere. You have children going to the hospital with asthma attacks because they're allergic to mold. You have the rental people, which is the husband is the maintenance and the wife is the manager, and they say what they say. They tell families if they speak or say anything that they will be retaliated against. So just asking you guys for your help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Do you know what agency is in charge of placing them in this place?
Can you give me 1 second?
Sure.
Okay, so give me a second. I'm trying to see which ones they are. I know something is, what is it, Liz? PV8P?
No. The agencies that are placing everyone there is
Why don't you
emergency
come up to the
services.
microphone
Oh,
because
I'm
there are
sorry.
people watching that can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I gotta find the list. I wasn't ready for this part.
You have DHHS Emergency Services, They're placing families there. Any other agency that helps with homelessness will place families there. It's either,
Department of Emergency Service.
yeah,
A lot of them are from Department of Emergency Service. There are different programs that they're on. I have one lady that we spoke with tonight. She's been dealing with this problem, bouncing from hotel to hotel for 2.5 years. She's the one I said that has the cardiovascular heart. She has 2 disabled children.
All right.
Thank you.
and I have a disabled granddaughter. And my daughter was
Can you
chased.
state your name?
My name is Elizabeth Velasquez.
Thank you.
I brought my kids with me. My daughter and my granddaughter got followed by a guy. I mean, we had to call the cops. The cops had to bring him into custody because he had a warrant. But he was flashing money around, knocking on doors, asking us to come in his room and, just lay with him
Understood.
many times, not just once. Me and my daughter were waiting for a taxi. She's 17. And a guy came over and asked us if we wanted to come, he would pay us.
And this is every day.
This is a daily thing. You can't cook for your kids because if you do, they kick you out.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you they're going to kick you out. They kicked me out for complaining.
Understood. Okay. We appreciate the testimony.
We'll see
Thank
what
you.
we can do. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sounds like we need some enforcement over there too.
We have anybody else who would like to testify this evening?
Hi, my name is Laisha Velasquez.
It's fine.
Ever since we were placed in that place, my anxiety has peaked so bad. I wake up in the middle of the night having panic attacks. I haven't had a panic attack in years, but ever since we've been in that place and they've tried moving us into other rooms where there's been known drug addicts and drug activity, that the moment you step in the room, it just smells like straight chemicals and drugs and mold. It's so bad. It's so bad. We got placed there even though we weren't meant to be placed there.
Is that it? Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony.
Tiffany Kelly, resident of the city of Gaithersburg. This landed on my desk a couple of hours ago. I don't care who runs the program. The building is in our city. We are responsible as leaders of this community. I don't care who finances it. It's deplorable. There is crime. The police come there and they don't do a thing. I got a note from someone that said, "Hello, our story is as simple as can be as every other family here. We were placed here due to unforeseen conditions in our last home. We were put in the worst place possible. Since being at Motel 6, I've requested to change hotels 4 times with no response. I've caught over 20 mice. I've caught mice on the bed with my son, in my food, in my fridge. Roaches are in my microwave. I've had to go to the hospital 3 times because of my asthma due to mice droppings. And my son breaks out due to the fact that they don't clean here properly. My son had a mouse crawl on him, and my case manager hasn't done anything to help. If you can help us get anywhere but here, we would be forever grateful." And what is so deplorable, this young lady has emails to some of you that have not been responded to. County staff, not responded to. Again, I don't care who runs the program. We have a direct line with the people that can stop this. And this is just the smoke of a raging fire. We have to solve it now.
Do we have anyone else who'd like to testify this evening? Okay, let me just check on Teams. If anybody's on Teams who'd like to testify, just use the raise hand function and I will call on you. Not seeing any hands go up. Okay. Code enforcement on Motel 6. Tom, do you want to come up to the podium?
Just that this is an issue that Neighborhood Services has been looking into, but based on this, we will work even closer with them to see what can be done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, also in addition to code enforcement, it sounds like we might need the police department to be looking into potential prostitution, drugs in that location as well.
The police are involved, but again, as Tom said, we will continue to work closely with them.
Thank you.
All right. Next on our agenda is public hearings. Seems like a terrible segue, but
Any testimony from online?
well, I just asked if no one.
Oh,
raised their
I
hand.
missed that, sorry, my bad. I missed it.
So let's invite the Planning Commission up here and Laura Mayford to lead us in this
I don't know.
consolidated joint public hearing.
Mr. Mayor, just because Jamil was asking if you had gone to Zoom before we moved on. That was.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
We both missed it.
We both missed
We
it.
both missed
Yeah,
it.
we both missed it. Yeah.
It was Teams.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Guess we weren't paying attention.
I was too wrapped up in that.
All yours, Laura.
Good evening. This is a consolidated joint public hearing on zoning map amendment application Z100302025 and abandonment application AB10054 2025. The subject properties are outlined in red on the screen. They are 2 O'Neill Drive, 3 Nancy Place, and the unaddressed parcel P940. Parcel P940 was recently annexed into the city and zoned CD. The zoning map amendment application proposes rezoning the other 2 parcels to CD, and the associated schematic development plan proposes a new multifamily residential community on all 3 parcels. This application also includes an environmental waiver request, tree removal variance, and affordable housing waiver request. And then the abandonment application proposes abandoning portions of O'Neill Drive and Nancy Place in order to realign the road and facilitate the SDP. Notice of this public hearing was published in the October 2nd and 9th, 2025 editions of the Washington Post. The property was posted with signs, notifications were mailed, and notice was given on the city's website. There are currently 67 exhibits in the record, and all are available to view on the city projects page at the city's website. Any dispute of an exhibit must be presented prior to the closing of the records. And lastly, I'd just like to note that at the end, we'd like to have 2 separate motions, one for the zoning map amendment and one for the abandonment. And now I will turn it over to Bob Dalrymple with the applicant's team.
Thank you, Laura. Welcome.
Thank you, Laura. Good evening, everyone. Bob Dalrymple, along with my law partner, Matt Gordon, with Selzer Gervich, here on behalf of the Casey Foundation. I think you're all familiar with the work of Casey in this community, and you'll hear from them shortly. Also here from the Casey Foundation is Marina Lopez, who's one of the 3 trustees of the foundation, and Drew Horman, who's the executive director. You'll be hearing from Drew shortly. The project team is up on the screen there. I won't introduce them all. They are all here and represented, and some will participate, and they can self-introduce as they do. This isn't the first time you've seen this. This is as promised when we came before you to annex half of the Casey property. Half of it was already in the city, and it was annexed into the city. And we promised to bring to you a tremendous, a happier and more successful way of providing affordable housing. And that's what we're bringing to you tonight. 434 total units, including 75% of the units, which will be regulated pursuant to the Internal Revenue Service Code, and will be in income ranges from 50 to 70% or so. This does take the place of the usual City of Gaithersburg affordable housing agreement, the 15%, but we will be putting a covenant on the property that will run with the land that would extend beyond any transfer of the property to some other operator. But Foundation has no intention of selling it. They're building this to operate it and to run a first-class affordable housing community right here in the city. The other reason why this is exciting is at a time when we're not seeing a lot of housing starts in this county and the money's tough to get. The foundation will self-fund this, and this is a go. We'll have a detailed presentation from the team here in a minute, but first I'd like to ask Drew Horman to come up to the podium and tell you a little bit about the foundation.
Thank you, Bob. Good evening. My name is Drew Horman. I'm representing Casey Management and the UGB Casey Foundation. I'm joined here tonight by my colleague, Myrna Lopez, one of the board members of the foundation. The Rosedale property associated with the project being discussed here tonight is owned by the Eugene B. Casey Foundation, which is a charitable organization created by Mr. and Mrs. Eugene B. and Betty Brown Casey in 1981. And that foundation has been providing support in the furtherance of the mission statement that you should see before you in the area for more than 40 years. The property has been a long-owned property of the Caseys, and Mr. Casey built the existing apartment complex in the early 1970s. I believe it was 1972 to be specific. The existing Rosedale apartments have become naturally occurring affordable housing units as Mrs. Casey intentionally didn't significantly increase rents throughout the years. Recently, over the past few years, we've recognized the apartments are aging and need to be significantly upgraded. So it was decided by the foundation's board not only to rebuild the apartments, but to use the adjacent vacant land also owned by the foundation to expand the project and provide more affordable housing in Gaithersburg, in which we are committed. To accomplish this goal, we've gathered a great team of professionals that are helping us design, plan, and eventually build the project. And with that, I'll turn this over to Matt Wetzel with Rogers Consulting and let him explain in greater detail about what we've branded as the Rosedale Village Apartments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Drew. As Drew said, I'm Matt Wetzel. I'm with Rogers Consulting, and I'd like to start tonight by reintroducing you to the Rosedale Village Apartments application. The joint rezoning and schematic development plan is the next step following the annexation that was before you at the end of 2023, beginning of 2024. The annexation agreement includes language that the existing Rosedale apartments will be redeveloped as a combined plan after annexation. A few highlights to keep in mind are the combined plan increases the amount of housing from 192 existing apartments today to 434 new apartments. Importantly, as was mentioned, 75% of these new homes will be affordable, ensuring long-term housing stability for current and future residents. Equally important is that the project will be phased carefully to ensure no displacement of existing tenants. So, the beginning of the presentation, we're going to get into the neighborhood context a little bit and show how the site fits into the overall area and development. The site, shaded in yellow, is located adjacent to the Casey Community Center with prominent frontage along Maryland 355 and I-370 near the I-370 interchange. Following the annexation, the entire property now lies within the city of Gaithersburg municipal limits, which are the blue lines on the aerial map that's before you. And the site is bordered on three sides by public roads within state right-of-way. When we zoom in, you can see the 14.6 acre project area made up of three separate parcels. Two contain the existing Rosedale apartments and are labeled N738 and N881, and the annex parcel, which is P940, is currently vacant. They are separated by the existing rights-of-way for O'Neill Drive and Nancy Place, both city streets that connect the Casey Community Center parking lot to the full movement intersection at Maryland 355. Just to the north is a stream valley, and on the other side of the stream valley lies the Rosedale residential neighborhood of single-family detached homes, and even further up is Rosemont Elementary School. Ahead of myself here. Apologies. This area is also part of the larger regional transportation investment. The county's Maryland 355 Bus Rapid Transit Project will bring upgraded bus service along this corridor. A proposed BRT station located at South Westland Drive is located just north of the site. This slide shows how the site fits into the overall neighborhood. The project site has a red boundary, and public roads rights-of-way do not contain any color and appear gray on this image. The KC Community Center is shaded blue and is located to the north of the site. North of the community center is the residential neighborhood that I mentioned before, which is shaded yellow as all the other residential uses are, and they're separated by the Stream Valley buffer shaded green. Along Maryland 355 are several commercial uses near the site that are indicated in pink. The slide also shows the site's proximity to the Shady Grove Metro Station, being between a 15-minute and 20-minute walk from Shady Grove Metro, with bus stop located right at O'Neill Drive and Maryland 355 and the future BRT bus station at South Westland Drive. Next are some images for further context. The first photo shows the KC Community Center viewed from the site's entrance at Maryland 355. You can see the existing Rosedale apartments on the left side of the photo, and the parking lot that connects the existing to the existing Rosedale apartments is located directly behind the KC Community Center building. The next image shows the recently redeveloped Walnut Hill Shopping Center located just across Maryland 355 to the north, which includes a grocery store and some retail uses and restaurants. These photos show the existing Rosedale apartments, originally constructed in 1972. The apartments lack modern amenities and are at the end of their life cycle. There are also no active amenity spaces. The site does not have any modern stormwater management systems. Runoff currently flows directly into the adjacent stream, either over pavement or through untreated storm drains. Now we'll get into what's proposed. The next few slides summarize the project's rezoning and schematic development plan. The annexation parcel is shaded yellow on this image and was zoned CD concurrently with the annexation. To develop the project comprehensively, we are requesting a rezoning of the existing 2 Rosedale apartment parcels from R20 and R18 zones to the CD zone jointly with a schematic plan along with a partial roadway abandonment that I'll describe in a little more detail later. The schematic development plan envisions 9 new buildings totaling 434 units organized along O'Neill Drive to maintain the connection from Maryland 355 to the KC Community Center. At the heart of the plan is a central green space framed by residential buildings, creating a unifying linear element. The buildings have also been sited to accommodate topographical constraints while phasing the project in a manner that ensures no displacement of existing tenants. All public streets will be lined with sidewalks, street trees, and lighting, establishing a safe and connected environment. The plan also meets modern stormwater management standards and adds active amenity spaces throughout, and I'll describe those in more detail in a couple slides from now. The project is subject to forest conservation requirements and includes a tree variance for the removal of 8 specimen trees, as it would not be possible to redevelop the site without it, because it's in order to remove the existing buildings, it would require removal of the trees. At this point, I'll turn it over to Walter for the next 2 slides to walk us through the architecture before I discuss the amenity spaces in more detail.
Sure. My name is Walter Ploskin. I'm a principal and managing director at Knowles Bolton Associates. We're a national multifamily architecture firm, and really proud to be working on this project. As Matt described, how the buildings are sited across the site, our proposal consists of a mix of building types and include both enclosed conditioned corridors served by elevator buildings as well as walk-up garden type units that accommodate both the urban edges of the site as well as the steep slope across the site. We're incorporating familiar forms and materials including pitched roofs, undulating facades, inset and corner balconies, and porches at entries. You can see on this particular image, it's a 5-story enclosed elevator building. And then on the next slide, we'll see a 3-4 split building that starts to accommodate the grade. Materials include primarily brick and fiber cement siding with trim, the trim capturing the siding and highlighting the features of the buildings. Hierarchy is traditional and brick bases around the buildings, and then extending upward at the building entrances, further accentuating the hierarchy. This combination of forms and materials unify the buildings across the site, allowing for a variety of residential scale that's comfortable and approachable.
All right, thank you. A key part of this plan is the creation of active amenity areas, along with the architecture, which are described in more detail in the design guidelines that we submitted with the overall application. There are 7 proposed active amenity areas distributed throughout the site evenly, ensuring that every building is near an amenity area. The project also connects to the surrounding community through sidewalk networks and an 8-foot wide trail along the edge of O'Neill Drive. We'll look more closely at those 7 amenity areas in the next slide, and they're described in relation to each building. The building labels are kind of small on this, but if you start right here at the building that is closest to the overpass of I-370 over Maryland 355 and go clockwise around the site, it's buildings 2 through 9, kind of go around that way. Amenity areas 1 and 2 are smaller gathering spaces, one tucked between buildings 2 and 3 and one just south of building 7. Both will be furnished and serve as a place for residents to gather, observe, sit, and socialize under a shaded tree canopy. Amenity areas 3 and 4 are the primary active spaces located along O'Neill Drive. The common green offers a large open lawn for flexible recreation, playing catch, kicking a soccer ball, or hosting small events, while the active play area includes a playground and a multi-use court, which we have some representative images down below that you can also see. The play court for children and families, and a shaded picnic area borders the lawn for relaxation and observation. Area 5 sits between buildings 7 and 9, where there's about 20 feet of grade change. We're using this topography creatively with retaining walls, landscaping, and seating terraces. Amenity area 6 marks the western entrance of the community. By positioning the seating area behind the entrance sign, the pergola, and the landscape planting will benefit both the entry experience and the residents using the seating area. Finally, amenity area 7 sits near building 5 along the southern edge, designed as a quiet, flexible open space with open lawn seating for residents. In summary, there are 7 active amenity spaces where none previously existed. To implement the plan, the existing road rights-of-way must be reconfigured, requiring portions to be abandoned and new ones to be dedicated. The new alignment is shown in red. The existing streets on this image are gray, and the paper right-of-ways with nothing currently in them are shaded blue. We're eliminating an outdated paper right-of-way that predates I-370 and reorganizing internal circulation into a single functional street network while maintaining the original connectivity. The project is being phased to ensure no existing residents will be displaced. Phase 1 will occur on the annex parcel, allowing construction of new buildings before demolition begins on the existing parcels. Current residents will then relocate into the new units on site. Parking during construction will be carefully managed with temporary use of existing lots and new on-street parking and new on-street spaces factored in. Once complete, the site is slightly underparked. 603 spaces are being provided, 624 are specified in the code, which is 21 spaces short, but the project will benefit from up to 41 on-street parking spaces counted separately from the requirement. The count will be finalized at site plan. This layout reflects a balance between maintaining housing continuity and addressing site constraints, including topographical constraints and road and utility infrastructure coordination. Ultimately, the phasing plan ensures housing stability, constructability, and a smooth transition from old to new. Impacts are required to the stream buffer to accommodate storm drain outfalls and WSSC water line needed to serve the community. It's worth noting that a portion of the Casey Community Center parking lot is also inside of the stream valley buffer. And there are some existing storm drains that convey untreated water to the stream that are no longer adequate. Some temporary impacts will be required to the parking lot to install the storm drain lines and will be restored upon completion. The project has been closely coordinated with staff to minimize and mitigate environmental disturbances and avoid impacts to the city pedestrian bridge that currently crosses the stream, which is lightly shown in gray right here. We reduced the number of stormwater outfalls from 3 to 2. One expands an existing outfall, and the other will share alignment with the WSSC water line, minimizing new impacts. The plan shows the maximum anticipated limits of disturbance, which also includes mitigation plantings, which have been refined to protect sensitive areas while still accommodating the required infrastructure. The disturbance will be mitigated with forest planting at a 1-to-1 ratio. From there, I'll turn it over to Matt
Thanks,
Gordon
Matt.
for the remainder. Yep.
Thank you. Good evening, Matt Gordon from Selzer Gervich, along with Bob Dalrymple on behalf of the applicant. I'm just going to quickly reiterate what Bob mentioned at the beginning of the presentation regarding the affordable housing waiver. The foundation is proposing to provide 5 times what the city minimum is 15% affordable, and the waiver is only is requesting relief from the administrative burden of formally designating units in the city's program and then having separate reporting requirements with the IRS. So it's essentially to relieve the foundation of having a confusing reporting requirement. And as Bob mentioned, there will be a covenant recorded in land records that ensures that the foundation will operate consistent with what they've committed to with the IRS. And if things do change in the future, they would record a separate covenant that establishes the 15% minimum affordable. And it's also necessary to be consistent with what was approved under the annexation agreement for part of the property is already exempt from the city's affordable housing ordinance. So it's just to marry the 3 parcels together. Better than me at this. All right. Thank you. And then we also just wanted to touch before we get to questions and other public comments on the required findings that these bodies, the Planning Commission, will make a recommendation on and the Mayor and Council will act on. There's a justification statement. It's Exhibit 17 that details all of these things in greater detail. But the first finding is that the rezoning and SDP meets or accomplishes the purposes, objectives, and minimum standards of the CD zone. There are a couple CD zone objectives that I think are particularly applicable to what the foundation is proposing, and that it'll encourage redevelopment and renovation of an underutilized property along the corridor, and also promote revitalization within the corridor by encouraging new private investment that also fosters equity and livability. In terms of the development being internally and externally compatible and harmonious with existing and planned land uses. This is a project that the market typically does not produce from a philanthropic charitable foundation in an equity emphasis area that it is served by adequate infrastructure. The foundation is going to leverage upon their ability to upgrade and provide high-quality, affordable housing that is surrounded by a lot of amenities and a mix of uses. You can go to the next slide, Matt. Thank you. And one of the other findings relates to the consistency with the city's strategic plan. And we've pulled out a couple different things that we think are very accurate for what the project will deliver in terms of encouraging reinvestment in aging multifamily properties, pursuing strategies to provide a mix of housing options for a variety of income levels, and also improving access and integration among employment nodes, residential areas, and amenities. And then, next slide, please. Thank you. The SDP application and rezoning is also consistent with the master plan. The master plan contemplated CD zoning for all of these properties, as well as the annexation that already occurred. And the inclusion of updated affordable housing along with market rate multifamily units, infrastructure, and amenities will further the master plan vision for the site. And then we did also want to note that the more recently adopted housing element of the comprehensive plan specifically recommends preservation of existing affordable homes, both market rate affordable and regulated housing. And on this slide, we have a handful of other elements from the comprehensive plan that are consistent with what the foundation is proposing. And then the last finding that we wanted to touch on is the adequate public facilities requirements. We previewed all these items during the annexation process, and we will now be able to reconfirm that the project satisfies all the requirements, including the transportation facilities, adequacy of school capacity, water and sewer facilities, as well as fire and emergency services. So with all of that, we believe that we hope the Planning Commission will recommend approval, and the mayor and council will make these requisite findings that the project fulfills all the requirements for approval of the rezoning and SDP, and we're available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for the presentation. I am eager to see the discussion of this project happen. Right now, I have one quick question, and then actually I'm going to go to the Planning Commission before we go to Mayor and Council. And so in the background material, you guys mentioned, I'm talking about parking. And there was you mentioned 51 in the document, 51 on-street parking spaces. Tonight you mentioned 41. Was that just a mix-up, or have we reduced 10 spaces?
So we've been working with staff addressing their comments, and there were some site distance issues that kept us from having some of the original proposed on-street parking as we were working through the details. So we have reduced the number of on-street in order to be able to have adequate visibility while you're traveling down O'Neill Drive.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go to the Planning Commission. John.
Sure. Just a couple quick things. And by the way, this is very exciting to see. So anything I ask is getting in the weeds a little bit. So it's just more for my information than anything. You're talking about amenities on site. Do you have indoor amenities, gathering spaces, public or I don't know, fitness rooms, things like that, party spaces as part of the programming?
The interior amenities will be community-based amenities, so it'll be a community room, leasing,
Okay.
support. Yeah.
So you will have that as part of the overall program. Great. And I have a technical question. So in this discussion about protecting the affordable housing with a covenant, recorded covenant, how does that, and I'm not sure who I'm asking this of, but how does that play out over time? I mean, does that end up at site plan? Does it end up as a separate and distinct document as part of the annexation agreement? Where does that all get tracked? And
Maybe we need Frank for that question.
Yeah. State your
Where's the
name.
quickest microphone?
State your name and address.
You got 3 minutes, Frank.
Frank Johnson answering the question. It'll certainly be referenced as part of the site plan as a document that will be in place, but it will be a separate standalone document.
So there's a durable,
Absolutely.
something there that's durable over the life of this
Absolutely, yes,
project.
and the intent is that it run with the land so that, let's say, generations from now, if there's a change, and essentially if the amount given provided for affordable housing were to come down below the 15% mark, then at that time, then the city regulations would take effect.
Perfect. Okay, thanks. Appreciate that.
Sure.
That's all I got.
Okay. Any other planning? Yeah, Lloyd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick question about the fact that it's going to be parallel with I-370. Are there any sound mitigation plans for that?
We have retained a sound Phoenix Noise and Vibration to do a study for us. We didn't receive, I think we got to figure that out at site plan, but I'm going back here, as you can see, buying myself some time in order to show that, in order to anticipate and try to get these buildings as far away from I-370 as we can. We did put the parking lot along the I-370 side here. And, you're kind of down, and there's an existing sound wall that stops short here, but we're going to have to study that a little bit further. Right now, we'll probably have some treatments on the building ultimately to dampen some of the sound there.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'll just add on, they did provide a sound study as part of the application, and they have to comply with Montgomery County's requirements to keep the sound levels below, I think it's 65 decibels. And the study just showed that they could do that with some additional treatment on the building, so that will come at final site plan and building permit. But it's just something that we know at this stage they'll have to continue to work on at final site plan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Carol.
Good evening. Since Gaithersburg is really becoming a bikeable community, I wanted to know if this community in itself will be a bikeable community, since bikes are also a mode of transportation now, too.
Yeah, I mean, we did provide the 8-foot hiker-biker trail along O'Neill Drive, which connects you from any sidewalks or road biking from 355 to the Casey Community Center. But other than that, it's mostly buildings and the amenity spaces within the actual 14 to roughly 15 if you count the annex portions itself.
So will people be able to go to the different outside community areas by bike, too?
They should be able to, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Nothing, Matt? Okay.
I mean, I'll just add that I did review, and it's STPs. There's not a lot of technical information here, but looking for something which is, fun, right? To criticize you guys on, I really couldn't find anything. This is a great project. And he looked really excited. So now I'm going to shut up so I don't scare you guys off.
It is sort of a dreamy project in many ways here. Let me go to the council. We'll start with Jamil.
Just two quick comments, maybe. How do you see the role of like rooftop solar or EV infrastructure for these kinds of projects?
That's good. I do
To be addressed.
Huh?
To be addressed.
Yeah.
I think for us, it would normally come down to whatever is market dependent. And I think as we get closer to actual building permits and final site plan, it's something that we can continue to explore.
Okay. You were going to say something else?
Yeah, I mean, we are planning to not have gas at the site, recognizing where the county is going and phasing out of the burning of fossil fuels. These will be electric buildings, so that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, no, I just put a plug as we walk around the communities as, some of the townhouse communities that don't have garages and they're trying to retrofit, 30 years later, EV infrastructure, to the extent some of that can be, prepared for, not, from day one, but be ready as eventually, I have a strong opinion that we're all going electric. It's just a matter of time and being able to, be prepared for that. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Lisa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I had a question about parking and sound. They've been asked and answered. So I'm left with thank you. I'm super excited about this project and I look forward to what's to come. Thank you.
Okay, Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too had questions about sound and parking, and just on the parking end, I do want to make sure that wherever we land with the number of parking spots, that what we don't find is a situation where there's overflow into the Casey Community Center parking lot. So that's number one. The good news is, of course, it is going to be on the transit, BRT whenever that gets built. So there is, that proximity and I do have a little bit of concern. One of the maps talked about being able to walk to Shady Grove there. Somebody who rides their bike through this area with all of the on-ramps and whatnot, it's not exactly the most conducive to walking to a place like Shady Grove Metro.
As the crow flies, right?
Right, exactly. So that was something that jumped out to me. I'm going to piggyback on what Councilmember Hernandez said. We've been getting names wrong all week, so apologies to my colleague. A couple years ago, within the city limits, we had the Green Bank got involved with a solar conversion project in the city of Gaithersburg with the Seneca apartments. So that might be an opportunity there, particularly getting in at the ground floor and see if that might be an opportunity to cooperate with them to see if you can get that going from day one. So,
Okay,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Good suggestion. Neil?
So, like everyone's saying, this is an exciting project, a great location, and great to see, more affordable housing being constructed. A quick question on how we're going to how you're planning to relocate the residents, or moving from one residence to another, even if it's as convenient as just across the way, is a lot of work. Are you folks going to provide help for that, or what's the plan?
That might be best answered by the foundation. I'm not sure, Drew, if you.
You can get back to us if you don't have the
Yeah.
answer tonight, but
I don't.
wait, come to the microphone so everyone can hear.
I don't have a solid answer for you on that, but it is something that we're aware of and have talked about and have some resources that we're looking into. So something we can provide later.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Thanks, that's it.
Okay. All right, well, with that, let's go to the public. This is a public hearing, and if there's anybody here, it's the same rules as with our public comments. We ask that you state your name and address or neighborhood for the record. Keep your comments no more than 3 minutes, and if you have more, then use your 3 minutes and send us the rest in writing. Do we have anybody who'd like to testify on this here in the room?
You know what I'm going to say, because you looked at me when I raised my hand.
Sure I do.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am so grateful to be here because I've never, all the years I've lived in Gaithersburg, I've never been to a meeting. But
We're
my
glad
name
to
is
have you here.
Beverly Noakes.
Thank you, thank you.
Beverly Jean Noakes, and I've lived at Rosedale Apartments for years. I just have one quick comment, the noise. I invite you to walk back in the back and you can hear the traffic day and night. That's my only comment. But I appreciate all the information that you provided tonight, and I enjoyed being here for the meeting.
Thank you. We're glad to have you here. Any other testimonies in the room tonight before I check on teams? Okay, not seeing any. Let me see if we have any. Do we have anyone who'd like to testify on teams? Okay, there's somebody whose name I don't see. Well, actually, they're there under the name J, just the letter J. Tech team, if you could bring that person up and please just state your name and address and go right ahead. You're currently muted. I still see you as muted. You have to unmute. And we can't take off the mute remotely. So, okay, is there anybody else? We can come back to you, Jay, but is there anybody else who's watching on Teams who would like to testify? If so, use the raise hand function. Okay, let's try one more time with Jay. Are you there? I see. We have allowed you to put on your microphone, but it is still muted. Okay. All right. Well, then.
We'll take that as support.
Let me just suggest that you send us your testimony in writing, and we will consider it just as we would have considered your oral testimony. Send it to cityhall@gaithersburgmd.gov, and we will, or to any of us directly, and we'll take care of it. Okay. So with that, let me just come back to. Okay. We have.
I think we're into our procedural stuff now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And staff has recommended two separate motions, right, Laura? So, all right.
Yes.
So first up then is for the Planning Commission on item Z-10030-2025. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission hold their record open until 5 p.m. on November 19th, 2025. That's 30 days with a recommendation to the Mayor and City Council tentatively scheduled for December 3rd, 2025. So motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. And for the second part of the hearing, on the abandonment request, AB-10054-2025, again, staff recommends that the Planning Commission hold the record open until 5 p.m. on November 19th, 2025, with a recommendation to the mayor and city council tentatively scheduled for December 3rd, 2025. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that passes unanimously from the commission. Mr. Mayor?
All right, so on the rezoning matter, staff recommends that we hold our record open until 5 p.m. on December 12th, 2025, with policy discussion and final action tentatively scheduled for January 5th. What is the pleasure of the council?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Carries 4-0. Let me just get to the other one. Here we go. Okay. And this is for the abandonment request. Staff recommends that we hold our record open until 5 p.m. on December 12th with policy discussion and final action tentatively scheduled for January 5th. What is the pleasure of the council?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Carries 4-0. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, planning commissioners. Glad to see you guys. Okay. Next item on our agenda is from the mayor and city council. And maybe we'll let it clear out just like for a few more seconds.
Vamp, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. First in from the mayor and city council tonight is going to be Lisa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have something to read, but before I read, I want to take a point of personal privilege and hopefully attempt to embarrass my friend's son is in the audience. His name is Garrett, and he is a new freshman at Georgetown University and currently on the swimming team. We're all super proud of him. He is here tonight because he's going to get an A in his civic class by being here this evening and taking notes. And,
Extra credit.
Extra credit. Anyway, and then I have a read.
Welcome. Welcome.
Notice to the general public is hereby given that the mayor and city council plan to conduct a council in the communities meeting on Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. 7 p.m. at the Casey Community Center, 812 South Frederick Avenue, Gaithersburg, Maryland, 20877. The meeting is being held for residents in the below vicinities. Neighborhoods, Brighton East, Browns Addition, Deer Park Place, DeSelum Avenue, Foxwood, Gateway, Commons, Morris Park, Observatory Heights, Rosemont, Summit Hall Reserve, and Water Street. The apartments are 17 Barclay, Amber Commons, Chelsea Park, Diamond Estates 1, Diamond House, Hillside Senior Living, Rosedale, and Summit Hall. Condominiums are Brighton East 1, 2, and 3, Cedar Village, Fireside, and Lilac Gardens. For more information or if accessibility accommodations are needed, please contact Neighborhood Services Division Manager Sebastian Andion at sebastian.andion@gaithersburgmd.gov or 240-805-1037. That is it.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to go a different direction. We're going to go to Neil, and then we'll come back to you guys.
Your discretion, Mr.
Yeah.
All
Go ahead, Neil.
Thank you, Mayor. So a couple of things before I get to the announcement I have to read. On Friday morning, we held our monthly meeting of the Gaithersburg Economic and Business Development Committee, which I'm happy to be the liaison to for many years after actually I was a member of that committee before becoming a council member. Another great meeting. We had an outside speaker who talked about and gave us a lot of data on the state of the life sciences industry in our city and in our region. Things have been a little less wonderful in that sector. It was, a few years ago, we were scouting about to find any facility to put new life sciences buildings and startups. Now there's a little bit of vacancy, but Gaithersburg is still strongly outperforming the nearby communities in the rest of the country. So things are tougher in that space than we were used to, but less tough than a lot of people have it, and it's still one of the shining stories in our economic outlook in the city of Gaithersburg. Also, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, as a member of the Metropolitan Washington Area's Transportation Planning Board, I'm on the steering committee this year, and there was a project that was proposed by Virginia Department of Transportation to add some toll lanes coming across the Wilson Bridge, the one on the other side of the Beltway from the Legion Bridge. It was quite controversial. There was a lot of uproar in Prince George's County. We were expecting a tumultuous meeting, but in the few weeks before the meeting, there was a meeting of the mind, so it was a bit of an anticlimax. The project has been removed from the region's long-range plan for the time being, with a lot of questions going back to Virginia Department of Transportation, and with the instruction to come back with answers to the questions and perhaps to revisit that project's inclusion next year. One of the big controversies was over whether or not that would take the place of the long-planned extension of the blue line across that bridge, which sadly there's no sign of any funding or ability to actually move forward with that project in the foreseeable future. So I'm sure you'll be hearing from me on this subject again at some point next year, but at this point, things are calm, which is nice. So that's it for that, and I'll go to my official announcement, which is regarding Gaithersburg's 2025 election information. Gaithersburg residents will cast their ballots for mayor and 2 council members on Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. The city is conducting a hybrid election for 2025. Mail-in ballot applications and ballots are available. In fact, I already received mine and my wife's. Applications may be picked up from City Hall or completed electronically on the city's website. Approved mail-in ballots began being mailed to voters on Friday, October 30, 2025. One vote center will be located at the Activity Center at Borough Park, 506 South Frederick Avenue for in-person voting. In addition, there will be 7 ballot drop boxes located throughout the city. An early voting session will be held on Sunday, October 26, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. There is no registration deadline, as the city is offering same-day voter registration for the 2025 election. To confirm your registration, please contact the Montgomery County Board of Elections at 240-777-VOTE. For complete election information, please visit www.gaithersburgmd.gov/elections. And I have voted already, so you guys are safe for now.
Where's your sticker? We need the proof. I'm just kidding. Of course you voted.
I did.
Yeah. Thank you, Neil. We'll go to Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to wish everybody who celebrates Diwali a very happy Festival of Lights this evening. May your homes be filled with light, laughter, and the warmth of family and friends. My neighbors have had their light. Actually, I don't know if they ever actually took their lights down from last year, to be honest. But they have their they have their Diwali lights up, and it's always nice to see those across the street. And it's a reminder that Christmas is much closer than I would like it to be. But hope everybody enjoys their celebrations. I've been getting a lot of questions lately about pedestrian safety as we're out and about in the community. In fact, yesterday had basically a barbecue and a gathering over in the Kentlands to talk primarily about pedestrian safety with some neighbors. And as some of you may know, there was a student that was hit by a car recently over there. And fortunately, that family was able to attend, and the student is doing better and was up and around playing. So grateful that it wasn't worse than it was. But it's just a really important reminder. We can engineer streets to be safe. We can make improvements to places, but there's also the human element. And I think we'd all agree that since COVID, Drivers have kind of lost their minds when they're on the road, and I think we can all do a little better job when we're behind the wheel. I know I can. So I just want to ask the community to, especially when you're going through neighborhood streets, we're all busy, we're all in a rush, but let's take the time to make sure that, we're stopping at stop signs and, following our speed limits and trying to keep our community safe. I also wanted to bring up, we are in the middle of a Move Safe Gaithersburg program. Many of you may have seen signs around your community with a QR code with information about what we're doing, collecting information. There's actually a virtual community meeting coming up on Wednesday, October 29th from 7 to 9. So you can scan those QR codes in your neighborhood, or we have a landing page, which it's a different website than you would normally go to, but it's gburg.md, so gburg.md/MoveSafeGburg. And this will take you to the landing page, and you'll see information about the project. You'll see the link for the Zoom meeting. Again, that's Wednesday the 29th from 7 to 9. And there's great information on there. There is a dashboard about where we've had crashes, and other really important information. So I encourage everybody, if you have feedback, please take the moment there, go there, participate in that virtual community meeting, and this will help us as we're going forward with future pedestrian safety improvements. As I told the folks yesterday, the more data that we have, the more we know what areas should be a priority, as we have limited resources and we want to prioritize the areas of most need first. So this is your opportunity to give us that feedback so we can make those informed decisions. That's all, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. We'll go to Jamil.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a statement to read here. After closed executive session, a closed meeting was held in person by the Mayor and City Council on Monday, October 6, 2025, at approximately 8:22 p.m., pursuant to a motion adopted unanimously. The session was proposed to be closed pursuant to the general provisions article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Section 3-305B7, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. 3-305B8, to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation. And 3-305B1i, the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom it has jurisdiction. The topics discussed were the city's potential litigation and settlement options in a complaint against the police department, which is being handled by LGIT, otherwise known as Legit, and a personnel matter to conduct the city manager's annual performance review. Present at the meeting were Mayor Ashman and council members Harris, Henderson, Hernandez, McNulty, and Wu. Staff present were City Manager Briley, City Attorney Johnson, and Chief of Police Sroka. Also present was Skip Cornbrooks, Legit Attorney. All left at 8:46 p.m. Upon conclusion of the discussion, the closed executive session was adjourned at approximately 10:06 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jamil. 3 items. First, I want to congratulate staff on Oktoberfest. It came off like much better. I see Mark Scafidi, our weather guy, our weather guru in the back. Unbelievable. As of the day before, we thought that we might be hit directly by a nor'easter and would have to cancel the event. There was serious discussion about canceling it, and it turned out to be just a glorious event and great. So good job, staff, and Parks and Rec staff in particular, but Public Works does a lot of work there too. All of our departments, I think, have some role. Couple pieces of good news. I was at the MML Fall Conference last week, and as there's a 3-year cycle in being recertified for our Sustainable Maryland certification. And this year, not only did we certify at the highest level, which don't ask me why, the highest level is silver. It's I don't want to get off on that, but we were this year 2025 sustainability champion in the state of Maryland. We were the highest scoring municipality in all of the group. You guys all right?
He started.
down the wrong pipe.
He started it.
Okay. The highest scoring municipality in all of Maryland, and I'm really proud. I want to, like our environmental staff's not in the room, but I want to give them a round of applause anyway. And our environmental affairs committee. That's a big deal, and I know we're all very, very proud about this. And the last piece of good news, hopefully not for the night, but the last I'm going to deliver right now. The county council, this is just an update on our transportation impact tax MOU, which is signed by the county executive, has to be approved by the county council. I was down there on Thursday, I think, for the Transportation Environment Committee to hear it. They voted it out of committee successfully. Now it goes to the full council. We're one step away from 11.6 million. Getting to Jim's point about hearing about pedestrian safety and bike safety. This is 11.6 million going to shovel-ready projects in the city of Gaithersburg, all over the city. So in the next year or two, you're going to actually see a difference in our pedestrian and bike network. So we're almost there. We are like right there.
When's the vote?
I actually don't know when the vote is.
It hasn't been scheduled yet.
Yeah, it's one of the next couple of Tuesdays, and it may even be a consent item because we'll see. We're keeping an eye on that. Believe me. In terms of upcoming meetings, we will have a work session on Monday, October 27th, and we are going to receive a federal restructuring update, 7:30 p.m. Right here, and you can participate in person or on Teams. We will not have a regular meeting on Monday, November 3rd, due to the city election coming up the next day. We will also not have one on the 10th. So we won't have one on the 3rd and 10th. The next, we'll have a special session for everyone's swearings in on Monday, November 17th. And again, you can be here with us, or you can watch on Teams or on social media. So with that, I'm told we don't have an economic development update tonight. So we're gonna. Oh no, we go to city manager first anyway. Duh. Oh, but actually, we got to do. I'm all mixed up here tonight. We need a motion to do an executive session first. Then we're gonna go to city manager. So Jim, you want to give us that motion?
Sure, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I move that the mayor and city council of the city of Gaithersburg conduct a closed executive session on Monday, October 20th, 2025, pursuant to the general provisions article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Section 3-305B1I, the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom it has jurisdiction. The topic to be discussed is a personnel matter to conduct the city manager's annual performance review.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, carries 4-0. Thank you, Jim. Now we will go to from the city manager.
Well, since Councilmember Wu isn't here, I'll say ditto to the mayor's comments. I think just about everything you announced was something I was going to also.
Oh, sorry to
congratulate staff
step on your thunder there.
Oktoberfest. No, it's okay. And we are very proud of the environmental services team for scoring the highest in the state. And for those who may not know, that entire team, with the exception of one person, has turned over in the last 2 years. So that's a brand new team that has kept the trains running well and on time and having us be recognized in the state. So congratulations to that team. And then I'll just mention that the Cleveland Browns won the battle, the battle of the bottom yesterday. Sorry about that, man.
Against my Miami Dolphins.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're the bottom champions.
We are the bottom champions.
Okay. So thank you, Tanisha. We don't have economic development, so we're going to go right to ordinances, resolutions, and regulations. Melanie Brown, you are up.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. The resolution before you this evening is to authorize the city manager to amend the professional services contract for the design of the future municipal building located at 12 South Summit Avenue. The contract for the design was signed on November 4th, 2024, in the amount of $1,478,415.19. As many as you will remember, when this building, located at 16 South Summit, was renovated, the city intentionally left half of the third floor, approximately 7,500 square feet, unfinished, as the future use of the space had not yet been determined. Since then, the police department has identified a need to expand into this area to accommodate additional staff offices, a classroom, a scenario-based training room, restrooms, janitorial closet, and a copy room. On July 31st, 2024, the city issued requests for proposals 2025-023 to 17 architectural and engineering firms currently under contract with neighboring jurisdictions for similar services to execute design services for the renovation of the city-owned building located at 12 South Summit Avenue. The procurement department entered into price negotiations with the recommended firm, Mans Woodward Studios, resulting in the most competitive hourly rates for design services. City staff has worked closely with Mans Woodward Studios over the past 11 months and has been very satisfied with the quality of their work and deliverables. Given their familiarity with the city's design standards, permitting process, and expectations, staff feels it is in the city's best interest to amend the 12 South Summit Avenue design contract to include the 16 South Summit Avenue third floor build-out project. The same hourly rates established for the 12 South Summit Avenue project will apply to this project as well. The scope of work for the third floor of this building it consists of schematic and design development for the unfinished portion of the third floor, preparation of construction drawings and specifications, and construction administrative services. Funding for this project was budgeted in the FY26 capital improvement budget. Staff recommends award to Mans Woodward Studios Incorporated with business offices located at 8098 Sandpiper Circle in Nottingham, Maryland, in a not-to-exceed amount of $479,061. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Questions or comments? This is the same group that gave the demo today, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. It's really impressive. It was really impressive stuff. Okay. Would someone like to move the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, carries 4-0. Thank you very much. From the city attorney, anything, Frank?
Well, I will add to some good news as well. Assistant City Attorney John Aiken, who recently graduated and sat for the Maryland bar exam, was successful in passing the bar, we found out on Friday. I think he found out about 4:30 and let me know about 4:31.
That deserves a round of applause.
And he's also, we have had the opportunity and taken advantage of it in hiring folks who really show the spirit to serve in municipal work, such as John and such as Wyam just before him, the year before. He is on the verge of completing the City Attorney 101, so that'll be another celebration, and he'll be back before you hopefully in December for that presentation too.
Excellent.
Good news all around.
Yes. Anything from any other staff? Not seeing anything. Okay. Well, as we mentioned earlier, we are going to immediately upon adjourning this meeting, we're going to convene an executive session. As a reminder, we invite you to join us for our work session on Monday, October 27th, to receive a federal restructuring update. We will not have sessions on November 3rd or November 10th, and we will have a special session on November 17th, right here, 7:30 p.m. Until next time, actually, let me just remind everybody, we've got a city election, so make sure you vote before November 4th. That is Election Day. We have an early voting is this Sunday on October 26th. So hope to see you all soon. Let's do great things, Gaithersburg. We are adjourned.